I'm Danny Barnes from the CCAA, and I'm joined right now by the head coach of the San Francisco State men's basketball team, Vince Inglima. Thanks for joining us today, Coach.
Yeah, good to be here.
Well, you guys have 2 weeks and 3 games left in the 2023-24 regular season. Um, as it's coming down, you guys are right now tied in a three-way tie for that sixth spot and the final spot in the CCAA tournament. I just want to hear a little bit about kind of what's this final stretch is, and let's be honest, the opportunity that presents itself to your team. So could you just talk to me about these final 3 games that are on the schedule for your team? I know only one game at a time. I'm well aware, but if we could just talk about what you have in front of you.
Yeah, man, I mean, it can't get much closer than it is right now with Sonoma, San Marcos, and us and all tied. And then on top of that, we play Sonoma and San Marcos this week, and then they play each other next week. So really, whoever gets the job done here or whoever doesn't get the job done really can only look in the mirror, because you have the chances to go out there and perform and win the games to get the job done. And we feel good about obviously having both of those games at home, which is nice, and we've played pretty well here so far this year. So yeah, looking forward to it. But yeah, it's stressful. There's not a lot of margin for error at this point in the year, and but we know what we need to do, and so we're going to do our best to do it.
Let's be honest to each other too. You guys got a very big win against Cal Poly Pomona on Saturday. It snapped a 4-game losing streak, and got to be honest to each other, though, those 4 games came against the top 4 teams that had clinched conference bids. So that was a tough stretch. But what did your team learn during that stretch of games, kind of coming down the year?
Yeah, I mean, I think, prior to that, we'd won 6 in a row and we were feeling really good about ourselves. And then we, ran into those top 4 teams that are all great, national caliber teams. And 3 of those games were on the road and tough challenges. And, I think that the biggest takeaway for us was when we don't come out and establish and set the tone of how we want to play the game, it's a lot tougher to beat really good teams. If we let them set the tone and the pace and the styling of the play, and we play really reactive, it gets tough. And so that was a big emphasis this last weekend, is really trying to, come out there and impose our style and our pace and our tempo and the physicality level that we want to bring. And when we've done that, we've been really successful. And we're 13-1 in games that we're not trailing at halftime this year. So we've done a really nice job of playing in second halves and adjusting to what teams are doing. We've just had trouble in the first half of starting the game that way, and so that's been our big challenge this year, and we've been putting a big emphasis on it. And I think we're starting to turn the corner on that.
When you talk about the emphasis that you put on there, do you think you focus more on the offensive side or the defensive side for your guys, or is it just overall?
Yeah, I mean, it's a combination. It's kind of a little bit more on the offensive end for us. Our defense has been pretty solid for the most part, except when we have a lot of turnovers that feed the other team's offense. And so when we've had a chance to set ourselves up and get in position, and I think we've done a very solid job on that end of the court. But sometimes we get a little sloppy and a little loose with the ball, and that kind of gives the other team easy opportunities and gets them confidence and momentum. So that's been a task for us, and that when we're whether we're scoring or not, but when we're executing at a high level and we're playing together and we're getting quality shots, that translates into us playing better defensively and helping build that momentum and kind of establishing that style of play.
No, that makes sense. As you guys, let me ask just a couple questions from the insider point of view on this. You guys have Sonoma State coming up Thursday, and then you guys will have San Marcos on Saturday. Do you guys go back and reference those games more, or the last time you played them, or do you go back and reference kind of the last 5 games you played a little bit more as you prepare for these?
Yeah, I mean, it's a combination. I mean, obviously, I think you gain a lot from seeing a team play you, and what they do, in particular matchups and how they guard particular players. But I mean, definitely teams change over the course of the season, and so you got to put some weight on what teams are doing lately. So it's a combination, but we definitely, we look at how a team guarded us and maybe things that we can try to exploit in there, or ways they tried to attack us, and just so that we're aware of those things. So I think there's a lot. It's I mean, yeah, maybe I don't know, 50-50. Like, it's definitely that first meeting is pretty important. And we are fortunate to be in a position where we beat both of the San Marcos and Sonoma last time. So we have the opportunity, if we can get it done, we have the tiebreaker against both those teams. But both games were tough. And we're certainly taking nothing for granted. It's all on the table right now.
This might be a little too much, but asking, last year you led your team to the CCA tournament. You had your team in there, played really well. How important is for you continuing to establish this Gator program that, I don't want to say this in a bad way or anything, but that you make sure that your season always kind of ends in the playoffs? How important is it as a stepping stone for your program?
Yeah, I mean, I think we have an expectation that we should be a playoff team every year. Every year is different. This is obviously a really challenging league with a lot of high quality teams and coaches, and so every game is tough, and every season things have to bounce your way a couple times, but you got to make your own luck as well. But yeah, it's interesting. Like, we finished third in the conference last year, which was fantastic. I think we have a better team than we did last year. But a lot of other teams have a lot better teams than they did last year too. And the league is just really tough this year. And so, some games that, maybe we would have got away with last year, we're not getting away with this year. And so I think it's been a really great growth for us. I think we've matured a lot as this group. So hopefully that translates to us kind of making those steps and getting the job done. And yeah, we want to go back and we want to win games in the conference tournament. All right. Like, it's not a woohoo, we made it. We're trying to prepare ourselves to beat teams in the tournament and make a run and hopefully sneak into the national tournament.
And I agree with you completely on your statement there, just from the outsider's point of view a little bit. Last year, the league had some very top end teams. This year, like you said, I feel like the depth of this conference has been very good. And you've seen that. We'll get to see our first regional rankings come out this Wednesday, I believe it is. And I think that the CCA will be reflected in that one, of just having the first one would be teams under consideration. I think we'll see quite a few of those ones, like you said, just because of how battle hardened this league has really been this year. And hate to say it this way, but you guys had to go through that in a 4-game stretch of some of those teams that will probably be in those regional rankings.
Yeah, it's kind of, that's how the schedule breaks down sometimes. And it's like, if it was different and we lost all 4 of those games, but we had a couple wins in there, psychologically you feel better. And that's been the thing for us, is like, hey, we've played well in a lot of these games. We just didn't get over the line. Right. But that's what's so great about on Saturday, is finally kind of getting in the win column, because now, okay, oh yeah, we remember how to do this. We can do that. We can do more of this. Right. And we've won 15 games this year, but it just, when you go on a 2-week stretch of losses, those wins can feel in the distant past. And so I think hopefully we're turning the corner. We can take that confidence in. And I mean, yeah, like, Sonoma State is playing fantastic right now. And they've been really difficult for people to score on. And so, we got a huge challenge there, and then San Marcos as well. And so, but ball's in our court. We're at home, and we know if we get it done that we'll be in.
Well, and like you said, the scheduler got it right in this situation. We get to have a couple really good games down the final stretch of the CCA season. Fans will be able to watch those on the CCA network at ccanetwork.com. And as you mentioned, with your guys' week this week, you guys will play 2 games that are semi-playoff games. We'll just use that one, as we know the 3 teams between Sonoma State, as Coach mentioned, Cal State, San Marcos, and San Francisco State are 3 teams battling for that 6th spot in the conference title tournament, and they're all going to be playing each other over these next 2 weeks. So, Coach, just thank you very much.
I appreciate it, and excited for Thursday, and hopefully we can Get the job done.
Absolutely. Well, I don't want to say good luck. I can't favor one team over the other, but I'll be watching and can't wait to see how this thing plays out.
Appreciate it.